Hi everyone. There were quality issue in the recording, so I decided to do a re-recording of this morning's session. Yesterday, we wrapped up the part of the development of concentration, which we covered the 40 objects of meditation and which one to choose of the which object to choose depends on the temperament and the disposition of the practitioner. If the practitioner having anger, ill will, then the practitioner can use loving kindness to counteract the anger and ill will. If the practitioner is the more devotional type, they can use the triple gems as the object of meditation. A question raised by one sister is that is there a specific list that shows what type of meditation object can counteract what type of temperament? I haven't found a single sutta that actually compiling very neatly all the lists, but I feel like all these ideas are scattered around different sources. Yeah. I think it's a good idea if we can spend some time to compile in maybe in one Excel sheet just to compare this object will help to counteract this temperament. Yeah. That is a project for another time. Yeah. If you guys have time, you can also make the list, or we can collaborate and make a list together. Let's dive into the stages of concentration. Before we read this, uh, don't don't fret too much if you don't understand it at the first read. This is you can just imagine how it's like based on the description, but in the future, when you are very serious in your own practice and you want to verify and double check, you can always come back to this text again. But for now, it is let's read this for informational purposes rather than for direct practical purposes. The stages of concentration. Concentration is not attained all at once, but develops in stages. To enable our exposition to cover all the stages of concentration, we will consider the case of a meditator who follows the entire path of serenity meditation from start to finish and who will make much faster progress than the typical meditator is likely to make. And we will consider an ideal case where a meditator journey is smooth, so to speak. After receiving his meditation subject from a teacher or selecting it on his own, the meditator retires to a quiet place. There, he assumes the correct meditation posture, the legs crossed comfortably, the upper part of the body held straight and erect, hands placed one above the other on the lap, the head kept steady, the mouth and eyes closed, unless a kasina or other visual object is used. The breath flowing naturally and regularly through the nostrils, he then focuses his mind on the object and tries to keep it there, fixed and alert. If the mind strays, he notices this quickly, catches it, and brings it back gently, but firmly to the object. Doing this over and over as often as is necessary. This initial stage is called preliminary concentration, parikama samadhi. And the object, the preliminary sign, parikama nimitta. About the correct meditation posture, this is just a general guideline. Yeah. The guideline that you should use, and the one that I learned from Long Paul Viradamo, is that find a posture that you can hold comfortably for as long as you can. Yeah, some people have different kind of bodily problems. Some people, every person, their body is different. So a comfortable, stable position that you can hold for a long time is different from each person. Generally, this is works for most people, but some people you might need to adjust a little bit here and there. You might need to put. Some people is very comfortable doing full lotus position. Some people are not even able to do a full lotus position. Yeah. So how to know which position you should assume? You should initially you should do a trial and error, try out few positions, and then see how long you can hold it. And when you find that one position, you can stick with it. Yeah. If you can find yourself, you are able to meditate 30 minutes, 1 hour, 1 hour 30, 2 hours using that position, and then that position could be the one, that posture could be the one that suits your style. This is the guideline that I follow as well. The breath flowing naturally and regularly through the nostrils, he then focuses his mind on the object, tries to keep it there fixed and alert. When the mind strays, we notice it quickly, we catch it back, brings it back gently, yeah? Until keep practicing until this becomes our second nature. Once the initial excitement subsides and the mind begins to settle into the practice, the 5 hindrances are likely to arise, bubbling up from the depths. Sometimes they appear as thoughts, sometimes as images, sometimes as obsessive emotions, surges of desire, anger and resentment, heaviness of mind, agitation, doubts. The hindrances pose a formidable barrier, but with patience and sustained effort, they can be overcome. To conquer them, the meditator will have to be adroit. At times, when a particular hindrance becomes strong, he may have to lay aside his primary subject of meditation and take up another subject, especially as opposed to the hindrance. At other times, he will have to persist with his primary subject despite the bumps along the road, bringing his mind back to it again and again. We have covered the 5 hindrances again, and then this time during stages of concentration, these 5 hindrances is likely to bubble up again. We have covered the 5 hindrances in quite extensively in the past session, so you can take a look at that if you want to revisit and revise or review the 5 hindrances. Surges of desire, anger and resentment, heaviness of mind, agitation, doubts. The hindrances pose a formidable barrier, but with patience and sustained effort, they can be overcome. Yeah? To conquer them, the meditator will have to be adroit. They have to be clever, they have to be skillful. This is what adroit means. Clever or skillful, adept, dexterous, deft, agile. Sometimes if the hindrances is too strong, we might need to lay aside our primary subject of meditation and resort to techniques that can counter the hindrance. At other times, we will have to persist with our primary subject, despite the hindrances bubbling up. How to know which is which, how to know what to do what, and when to do what. This is where each meditator have to use his own discretion or judgment. Simply by trial and error, the meditation, if they keep persisting, if they keep trying, they will eventually overcome the 5 hindrances. Easy? No. But worth it? Yeah, I think so. As he goes on striving along the path of concentration, his exertion activates 5 mental factors which come to his aid. These factors are intermittently present in ordinary undirected consciousness, but there they lack a unifying bond and thus do not play any special role. However, when activated by the work of meditation, these 5 factors pick up power, link up with one another, and steer the mind towards samadhi, the right concentration, which they will govern as the jhana factors. The factors of absorption, jhananga. Stated in the usual order, the 5 are initial application of mind, vitakka, sustained application of mind, vichara, rapture, piti, happiness, sukha, and one-pointedness, ekaggata. These are the 5 jhana factors. These factors sometimes present in even our ordinary undirected consciousness, but only when they activated together, these 5 factors, and then they link up with one another, then it can be considered to steer the mind towards samadhi. Okay, that's all I have for this session. The next time we will continue exploring the 5 factors. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope you find this useful. I see you again in the next video.